Hello and welcome to Identities Conversations. We are sorry for coming to you late. We were supposed to start at 10 and I think it's about 20 minutes late. We had some technical glitches, but we're all the same very happy that we're having this conversation today. Today we want to talk about the issues of the education bill. Around 2017, Every Child in School campaign was launched. The campaign was pushing for access to state-funded basic education for every child. It was driven by the fact that more than 27% of children were out of school. There was petitioning of the minister as well as petitioning of the government of Zimbabwe. And then the government of Zimbabwe responded by producing the education bill, and we understand that there are more circulars that are coming to the effect of children being allowed into the education system, those that cannot afford education. So in the spirit of Every Child in School, this is brought to us by Tege Life. It's a girls and young women's rights organization. In the studio today, I'm joined by Honorable Maduku. Honorable Maduku is the committee member of the Portfolio Committee on Primary and Secondary Education at the Parliament of Zimbabwe. Welcome, Honorable.
Thank you very much, Nyaras. Most welcome.
Thank you. And I also have to my right Ms. Rubimbo Topodzi. Ms. Rubimbo Topodzi is one of the girls who is a survivor of child marriages that won and actually led the change of laws in Zimbabwe regarding child marriages. She herself was removed out of school and she was forced into a marriage. Welcome, Ms. Rubimbo.
Thank you, Ms. Mary.
Thank you. So I think as I gave earlier on that the fundamentals of this conversation that to look into the education bill, we must commend the government of Zimbabwe, the Parliament of Zimbabwe especially, for the efforts that you've put into responding to the calls of many. I mean, there's Every Child in School, but there's also many efforts that have been put by different sectors to push for state-funded basic education. And the government of Zimbabwe has so far you provided us with the first bill, the first draft bill, which then was taken for hearings across the country, where people contributed into the things that they wanted to constitute the primary and secondary education bill. And then it was debated the first time in Parliament, and it has been debated again, and I think a second reading has been done, Honorable, to that effect. For us, that's progress, and we are very happy to see that kind of progress going on. But maybe we want to give you time, Honorable, to just give us the background of how it's been like working on the education bill, and then maybe including the work that has been done that you took to take to the whole of the country regarding my hearings that you had with people and citizens.
Okay, thank you very much, Nyarazo. I would like to say that this education amendment bill, in as far as we have reached out to consult the citizens about this one, I think we're very much impressed because there was very, very high attendance of citizens trying to give their ideas as to what they want about their children and the education of this country. And also, more to it, my experience is that there are so many bills which are passing through Parliament. Remember that His Excellency, in the opening of the 9th session of Assembly, in his State of the Nation address, he did allude to the requirement by Parliament to ensure that we align everything else to the Constitution.
Right.
As dictated by Section 2 of the Constitution. Right? So a lot of bills are coming through Parliament, but what I've seen is that the discussions, the debates by the members of Parliament, when it came to the Education Amendment Bill, it was one of those bills which was so much debated, and that showed a lot of interest, even amongst the members of Parliament themselves, to make a very, very significant and meaningful contribution to the education of this country. So I want to say that it has been one of those bills which has taken a bit of time to go through National Assembly because of the importance of this. So you, as you are aware, we haven't gone through the processes of the third reading of the bill, because people are still debating. That shows how important the education of the education of this country by the citizens.
Right.
Yeah.
So how many times is it supposed to be debated, Honorable?
There's no, we don't give specific times to the discussions or debates in the parliament. A bill goes through depending on whether the members of parliament have done justice to the issues on the table.
Right.
Yeah.
So as we can hear that maybe this one is going the third reading because of the interest and the feedback. And I like how it's turning out. Do you want to also speak into some of the outcomes through that came out? Because I know Makaita ma hearings, you undertook national hearings around the education bill. What were the key issues that were coming out? What were the citizens? Because I know what you're now doing, the first debate, the second debate, and now we are waiting the third reading or the third debate that may come.
No, it's still on the second reading.
Oh, the second reading hasn't happened.
Yeah, that's where we are now.
Oh yeah, we are on the second reading.
We are on the second reading.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing is as a result of the outcomes that came from the people, because not only are you guys in parliament representing your constituencies, the people. What were the people saying in the bill? What were some of the sticky issues that came from the citizens themselves?
I want to say that, you see, the issue with this bill, like I've said before, we're talking about, we're guided by the constitution of the country, and they have already quoted section 2 of the constitution of Zimbabwe, which talks about the supremacy of the constitution, right? And having said that, we're saying that the Constitution of Zimbabwe is the supreme law of Zimbabwe. And any other law, custom or whatever you call it, which is inconsistent with the Constitution is invalid.
Okay.
So basically what we're saying is that this Constitution invalidates everything which is inconsistent with it. And remember that this Constitution is for 2013, right? And we have our education bill, it's 2006. So you see that there's something here, there's a mismatch. 2006 Education Act, the principal act is 2006, and the Constitution 2013. So a lot of things here are inconsistent with the Constitution.
Yeah, and
so,
what are some of the issues?
So that's why the Honorable Minister of Primary and Secondary Education had to actually produce this education amendment bill, so that it is aligned to the dictates of the new constitution, and also in line with what His Excellency said, that everything else we do in his efforts for re-engagement, engagement, and so on, we have to make sure that this, our country, democratic as it is, we are consistent with some of our constitution and international, regional treaties, statutes, and so on. So the minister, one of the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, brought these issues by way of amending. So basically, what we're saying is that you will find out that let me start with section 22 of the Constitution, which talks about people.
Honorable, before you do that,
I'm trying to bring issues.
No, but I wanted, first of all, to hear what the citizens were saying at the hearings that you undertook. And then if they were not inconsistent, then you're answering them with the consistency of the Constitution. So I needed maybe some of the highlights.
Okay, Nyarazo, this is what I'm saying. I'm basically talking all those issues which were brought by the Honorable Minister. He did not get the issues from his head. He got the issues from the Constitution of Zimbabwe. So when I'm quoting section 22 of the Constitution, it's talking about people with disabilities. You get where I'm coming from. So there are certain requirements within the education bill which you have to accommodate what the Constitution says about people with disabilities, about the physical infrastructure, the friendliness of that. That is what was brought by the Honorable Minister, the issues.
But I am asking about what the citizens brought, not what the Parliament or what the Honorable Minister brought. I'm asking about what the citizens were asking for. Makatenderera inini vanhu vachitaura nyaya dzavo. So ndinoda kunzwa kuti vanhu vaiti chii concerning nyaya ye-education bill.
Right, rega ndichidayo nyaradzo. Patakaenda tichiita ma-consultations education amendment bill, harisiri bill rongoti vanhu vaingobvunziwa kungoti muri kuda chii nezve-education. Aiwa, minista akatounza maproposals ake okunzi makaverenga here education bill. Pane bill rindikutaura ra2006. So we had the starting point. You cannot just say and consult people what it would have to amend. Remember, these are amendments. It's not a new law altogether. These are amendments. So what do you amend? You're putting patches to what is
so exactly.
So when we went out, the education bill 2006 and it. So my issues, there were issues of disabilities, right? Living with the disabilities. Accorded. In line with the Constitution. Section 22. Varipinda kuchikoro vamwe vana malenas, varipinda kuchikoro vari mumawheelchairs. Vasvika pazvikoro paya havakwanisi kuaccessa facilities because hapana facilities are framing. You get what I'm saying? And you have vamwe vanenge vane hard of hearing, vanopinda ma lessons because there is a mainstream inclusivity. Vanopinda lesson yaropinda iye hazvikwanisi kunzwa. As teacher kuticha hagoni kuticha sign language. Right? Saka lenda yaunogenda unomundogara munigigiri muchikoro.
So nyema disabilities yakabuda. Any other issues?
It was touching. Very much touching because they came in large numbers. And it was so painful because it has not quite accommodate education. Then another issue, very hotly debated, very issue corporal punishment. The corporal punishment, it was a very hotly debated issue, but I would say that most citizens actually say that they want their children to be with in school because this is they were quoting from the Bible, you know, a lot of them being a Christian country. Yes, they were quoting some biblical references and also even from African culture, where we came from and so they were saying no, ngatishwapure vana kushwapura vana hakusiri kuuraya kuti tivadirect ukina tikungotaura zvaitaurwa vamwewo vari progressive vari chizvino zvino vanotaura nezvimwe zvemahuman rights vataura kuti no havangarobwi vana pobudawo nyaya dzevana vanenge vane pamuviri vari pachikoro.
Maybe mutauri zvinonzwi pane vanhu vese nyaya idzodzo dzakatikoshera. I really would love for you to express that also. Maybe if you can also include English so that we can understand some of the issues.
Yes. The other issue which came out concerns learners, the girl child who becomes pregnant whilst at school. Yeah, like I've already said, some of the citizens who are progressive and so on, they were saying they should be allowed to continue with their education, but there were mixed views as to the extent to which we can allow them in class joining others. So it was a very hotly debated issue. So the majority were saying teachers are not specialists like nurses who know the phases of pregnancy by women. So it will be actually giving them a total time in terms of assisting the girl child whenever she needs to be assisted. So they were saying, at what stage should we allow the girl child to be with the others in class?
Okay.
And
I'll come back to you, Honorable. Thank you. I want to come to Mr. Potts as well. So you're hearing what the Honorable says about the issues of the Constitution, also about what is coming from the community. And I think we have cited, I think that we just really want to begin a conversation around the issues that you've already touched on, the issues of defining what is state-funded basic education. I think from community, people have been pushing for from basic what is coming from school from the communities. They want their children to be funded from grade 0 or elementary
ECD,
school
yes, yeah.
from ECD, right up to Form 4. Then the other issues that you've just raised, the issue of pregnant girls. And there's voices like the Honourable Minister saying, Honourable Member of Parliament is saying that there are those who are saying that once a girl child is pregnant, they should not be in school. And there are those that are saying, they should also be in school, and then they should corporal punishment. But as a girl child, I want you to give us just some of your thoughts around issues of access to state-funded basic education and the issue of non-pregnant girls.
Okay, to me, I want to say thank you to the people who are pushing for Every Child in School campaign. I really appreciate, because they're raising us, girl children, to be available there, to give us opportunities to learn again. I can say issue it's a disadvantage. Why? Because tikamisana tiri pachikoro nemukomana anoenda kumberi nechikoro akutenda kuuniversity, and after aita university akuwana mumwe mukadzi inenge achikorogo chiri pamba. How do I feel as a woman? How do I feel? It's so painful, very very painful. And I support those who are saying vana vane nhumbu ngavaende kuchikoro. Tinofanira kuenda kuchikoro tonodzidziswa, because as for me, ndakaroorwa ndichiri mwana mudiki ndikabva pachikora when I was Form 3. Vamwe vangu vese navo vane mabusiness avo vakuita zvinhu zvavo, and I'm still pasame page yandandiri ngori Form 3 yandakasiyira iyo ndopandichingori, and I still want to continue with school. So it's a big disadvantage kwandiri kuti handitorina kuenda kuchikoro, and handichatombowane opportunity yekuti ndichabatana nemamwe macolleagues angu. Maybe vamwe vakushanda mabhenki, vamwe vakutoproceda nekuti vange vachitiita manesi, ine handichakwanisa kuzviita. So it's a big punishment to us. So I just want to say thank you na minister varikuallowa kuti vana vese vapinde muzvikoro.
I think also you just touched on Honourable MP. I know that there was part of the hot debates that have been in Parliament has actually been the issue that you've over and above now community what is saying. That community is now being represented in Parliament, and there are members of Parliament who are of the opinion that once a girl child is pregnant, they should go leave the school.
Let me stress a point here, Nyarazo. The different views we're getting from citizens, they are not saying that they have to be punished and sent away for good, or expulsion and so on. There's a difference between exclusion and expulsion.
What is
but
the difference?
some citizens are saying once a girl child becomes pregnant, they are saying she should allow it to go give birth and come back. After, let me finish what you're saying. Let her come back, either join the others after having given birth. Some are saying let the girl child be allowed to continue with school but join the non-formal route. I'm just giving you what some of the citizens are saying.
Exactly.
Because you remember that even the Ministry of Education is saying every school is actually obliged to ensure that there is the formal system as well as the non-formal system at a school. So the citizens, some are saying let the girl child, they said they may not allow a situation whereby they condemn the girl child for having fallen pregnant, but allow her to go give birth, come back, either to join the others at the same school, or if she so wishes, a different school, or if so wishes, join the non-formal route. We haven't met anybody who said if the girl child becomes pregnant, let her be expelled, go home for good. No one ever said that.
Honorable Member of Parliament,
Yeah.
the issue here is the soft discrimination that you're defining. Those conditions that people are putting for the girl child are soft discriminations, because the very moment that she falls pregnant, she's got a group of people that she's used to in her school. Some of the class members that become part of, even sometimes part of a support system. The fact that there is a proposal that she leaves formal to be informal is a discrimination. It's a nice cosmetic. It's a discrimination that people are trying to cosmetize, to put cosmetic to. The fact that you are actually saying, you were in Form 3A, now that you are pregnant, we need to remove you. The question is why? Number one. Number two, who sets, at what point are we saying that the child should leave school? Who then defines at what point she leaves school? So for instance, it takes 9 months to carry a pregnancy, right? And if we are not careful, maybe by the time she's 1 month or 2 months, the whole school is probably now knowing that, because if we create that discriminatory tendencies that she actually at some point has to leave school or leave her class, we're actually brooding ground that at some point some nosy kids can actually know that, oh, Rubiembo is now pregnant, and then they run to the school and then they spread it in the school. Unlike making it as normal as possible, that's non-discrimination. Ideally, no child should fall pregnant. But girls are falling pregnant. Sometimes they're raped by teachers. Sometimes they're raped by their parents or neighbors, communities. They don't choose to be pregnant. Majority of times, teenagers don't choose to be pregnant while they're in school. They are raped by their own boyfriends. You know, when community and the government of Zimbabwe then comes in and says, oh, because you were raped, or you were taken advantage of even by your boyfriend, because even research, Honorable Member of Parliament says, more than 74% of children are impregnated. They are forced, actually, they are date raped. They go out with their boyfriend, and the boyfriend forces himself on her, and then she falls pregnant. She's not empowered with information that even my boyfriend is not supposed to touch me. But this girl child whose boyfriend, whether it's the same age or the community or the teacher, whoever is raping this child, and then you're now saying remove her so that she joins mature members of community who usually are not her age. It's demotivating. I mean, they discrimination there, but I want to just
Can I make a correction?
Yeah. Please.
Before I joined Parliament last year, I was the head of school.
Oh, nice.
For 20 years, I was head of school, of
Right.
Pamshana High School.
Okay. Wow.
I want to tell you that I think the debate we are undertaking now, we're talking about what some of the citizens are saying. But let me say that the ministry, the government of Zimbabwe, the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education is very much supportive of the rise of the girl child, the rise of learners, and they are also acting in line with regional and international instruments and statutes. And I want to let you know and inform the citizens of Zimbabwe that whilst I was ahead, I only relinquished the post last year after winning the election.
Yeah.
The government of Zimbabwe, the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, was actually saying there was a statutory instrument which guided us not to exclude or expel the girl child once she fell pregnant. It's there right now. So no head actually today can actually expel or exclude the girl child for falling pregnant. So we're just going out with the education amendment bill, wanting to hear the views of the citizens. But it's there on the table. The heads are practicing that right now. When I was at Pamshana, I heard some girl children, learners, who fell pregnant, and they were able to write their examinations.
Nice.
But for fear of discrimination being laughed at by the other learners, I'd actually to call them to the office to say, my child, I know your condition and so on. You, whenever you feel you need something, should you want to go to the hospital or what, you go find the senior woman and so on, you can actually come to me, there's no problem. But what I want you have to make sure you are mentally prepared, psychologically, so that we want you to go through your education, somewhere in Form 4 and so on. So we assisted them. But as we speak right now, there's no head who can exclude or expel the girl child for falling pregnant. The law is very clear with our ministry.
I like to hear that because my words are from my mouth. Because my next stage was going to say the Minister of Education, because when I said that, I was referring to other members of parliament. Because when this bill was debated, there was strong feedback from other members of parliament who were like, oh, remove the girls from school. But also some were also pushing to say,
that's a debate.
It's okay. I'm giving that background. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm just giving background, saying this is what other members of parliament said. And actually, I was going to then come and say, but we are happy that the minister put it to record that the Constitution of Zimbabwe does not allow for discrimination. And so we are happy with that. And so take this conversation as also giving out information out there, because it's the citizens who are also pushing for those notions. And for them to have adequate information is necessary. So I think it's Ruvimbo. I think I was going to come to you and say then that the minister actually stood in parliament recently. Was it last week or the other week, honorable member? When he actually then said, yes, over and above the other members of parliament who were against girls staying in school, but the minister actually defended you girls and said, and I also want to say the minister has been listening to some of the campaigns like Every Child in School that we've been saying, and we submitted a document during the draft bill that were very clear that no child should be excluded from school, because when we're saying every child in school, we are saying no matter whether they are poor, whether they are pregnant, whether whatever their situation, they should be in school. So the minister took heed to our recommendations as well, and he's standing for you girls and saying no child, because the Constitution, as the honorable member of parliament has said, the Constitution disallows discrimination. So the minister reported and said, he quoted the Constitution and said, girls, when they're pregnant, they have to stay in school. So I feel like you're kind of safe, because
in schools. Is that?
Exactly, as well, because I think it was going to be retrogressive if people had said, oh, what's right? Currently, girls can be in school. And I also want to celebrate you, honorable member of parliament, and I think it's a blessing that you are in this committee as a former school head and I think we'll actually record. We want to get your story actually and say it's game changing to have men who stand up for girls and who are also, now you're a policy maker and you are pushing for this. But I want to give the young woman a chance to speak and say, young women, what is your opinion?
Yes, Parliament. Thank you for that. And also, I just want to encourage you, Kuti, all the headmasters, that, because some of the headmasters want to put no, and it's so painful. So please, so please tauraine my headmaster is, especially kudzimusha kuvana vakurodzwa vari vadiki, because avatorina that information. If possible, zvichianonswa pama-assembly pipeline, mwana wese musikana achizvinzwa kuti no, but it's not kuti takupromota kuti vana vasikana ngavaite nhumbi. It's not that. Hatisi kutoda kuti vana vasikana vaite nhumbi, but at least ngativewo ngapawewo that room yekuti munhu tama friends nemi. Tinoita musikana zomunotidzidzisa nzira yakanaka, but please give us that space yekutaura nemi.
They are doing that, but let me go further, and my dear daughter here, that education is very important. I think it's a pity that a lot of us citizens of this country take our constitution, this document, for granted. Let me confide in you that when I was a school head here, I never dared to go through this constitution. Right. But when I became a legislator, I went through the constitution. And it's very clear. On Section 7 of the Constitution talks about promotion of public awareness of the Constitution. And that it should be taught in schools. And go further, in that it should be part of the curriculum training for members of the security services, the civil service, and members and employees of public institutions, the teachers themselves. They have to know this Constitution. So that's why, no wonder why Zimbabwe, being a country which respects human rights and its own constitution, no wonder why the president was at pains to say, guys, can you fast track all the bills so that they are compliant with the constitution? So our Honorable Minister of Primary and Secondary Education is totally in agreement with the dictates of the constitution. So even when it comes to corporal punishment, you will find out that people just make arguments, but their arguments are invalid. This is what we're talking. Even I was educating my colleagues, the fellow head, when I was still a head of school, that we cannot just make arguments which are outside the laws of the country. Because the laws of the country, Section 51 talks about the right to human dignity. Section 53, freedom from torture or cruel, inhuman or degrading treatment or punishment. You see that? So once you say you are inflicting harm to a learner, even in the courts, that is in total breach of our constitution. So whatever arguments the citizens of this country are making, a lot of them make these arguments from an uninformed position. So they don't know that there are this, the constitution which we are part of. We made this constitution. So whatever we may demand, which is inconsistent with this constitution, it will follow. So if we need to continue, but let me tell you that even in schools, there's a sexual instrument which doesn't allow a teacher to just slap learners and so on. So if you want that, like some are saying, then they have to make sure that they go back to the Constitution of Zimbabwe and make amendments to the Constitution of Zimbabwe. And when it comes to corporal punishment, by the way, we're not just talking about the education sector. Corporal punishment is there in the judiciary. Somebody commits a juvenile, commits a crime and so on, he has to be whipped, maybe 5 canes and so on. So what are we saying? So people should know what they are doing, so that if they no longer want certain sections of this constitution, then we have to go back and amend it. And the question to ask is it worth it? Right? Just for the sake of it. So I think everything we're doing, our minister is saying, is in total compliance with the constitution. Our president, His Excellency, is pushing us to fast track all the bills for all the other ministries so that we're compliant with the constitution, regional and international treaties and instruments.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member of Parliament, Maduku. And I think my time is running out. Remember, do you have something to say as we end the program?
Okay, I just want to say thank you for pushing for ECs, every child in school. And also, I just want maybe a request, maybe to say, as young people, we should have access to the Constitution so that we know or debate rather to think things in our heads. So at least if we have this access to the Constitution and then know what is in there, and then we start from there.
Amazing. The young women and the girls of Zimbabwe are actually hungry to know the Constitution, and I think the members of Parliament are using the Constitution of Zimbabwe, and I think it's organizations like Manatali, Take a Life, that has brought us this program that can also take up that opportunity to educate the young people, the nation, every segment of our society. But I want to say that Every Child in School is the one that has brought us this conversation about the education bill. Every Child in School is a campaign that's been pushing for free access to basic education by Take a Life International, a girls and young women's rights organization. And as I end, I want to just read from on some of the comments that came. They say every child, meaning everyone, has a right to access education, whether you're pregnant or not. And any form of discrimination will not be tolerated. And I think, as I am also a gender activist, I work with Take a Life, I work with Plan International, I am a champion of Girls Get Equal. And I have access to media who will make noise, Honorable Member of Parliament, until we will not sit back and watch our girls continuously be put in peripherals. But we are happy with great allies like yourselves who stand in there and say, hey, we have tested the system, we are the educators, but now we are the policy makers, and we are very privileged. And I also want to pay homage to you, homage to Honorable Misia Hirabwi Mushonga, who's been very open and helping us in pushing for every child in school, but also most importantly is the Minister of Education, Professor Mavima, for actually now pushing for the education bill, because if the minister does not get our back, we are squared. And the minister and parliament does not get our back, we are squared. You are lucky as young women that the minister stipulated. I read an article recently by Chinyatso Agiwakuti, we shall not sit back and violate the constitution. We shall not sit back and violate international conventions and treaties, that Zimbabwe signed. So we are in good hands when it comes to education. So kudos to you, Prof. Mavima. I know we've had a lot of tensions and arguments. We've worked a lot on this bill together, but I think Zimbabwean kids win. So I just want to announce that this is the beginning of a lot of series. Now that you've given us a background, Honorable Member of Parliament, I think we're going to keep talking about issue by issue by issue, because I think it's important for citizens to understand. So for instance, next week, pregnant girls, the other week, corporal punishment. Because we shouldn't just focus on the bed. This is a big, broad educational bill. So who actually be officially inviting Parliament to say we want constant conversation here on identities, media holdings, on our Facebook conversations, identities conversation, to put this until, I don't know, it's going to run for a long time. We're dedicating a day every week here to talk about the education bill, to talk about until it becomes an act, until every citizen of Zimbabwe has knowledge of this. Citizens, it was so great. Thank you for always taking time to watch us. And so remember to share, remember to like, remember to give us your feedback. We're going to be talking to members of parliament. What are the issues over and above? We will talk also about disability that you brought together. So what are the issues that you want us to discuss? Let us know. Until next time, citizens, have a good one.